Hello, we're back with part three. This is going to be our last part, our last section. So, congratulations, you've made it to the end of this training. So, we are ending this training with talking about coping skills and just hoping that everybody has been following along accordingly and you've been looking at the PowerPoint and you are enjoying the videos, and you will definitely have a time to take a little quiz to see all that you've learned and take a survey to be able to give us your feedback once you're done with this video. So thank you guys again for attending this training, and I hope that you have learned something new and fresh and that's useful for you in your career field of the helping field. So let's go on with coping mechanisms. So our previous video, we talked about triggers and we talked about boundaries. And once you have put your boundaries in place, you still may be experiencing some things, right? You still, like I said, you may still smell the smells, see the people, have to be in a particular place. And so once you are aware of what you're feeling and you have set up boundaries, but you know every now and then you may still encounter these things, then what can you do to help you move forward in a healthy way, to respond in a healthy way? And so I'm just going to give you a couple little tips. And again, the rest of it is all on the PowerPoint, and you can refer back there. So I mentioned it before, taking a break, walking away, going for a walk, going to sit in a quiet room by yourself to be able to process your thoughts. I think we take walking away for granted. We are so, even in the midst of like this whole thing where people are like, I'm non-confrontational, we as a society are way more confrontational than we like to think, especially when we feel like we're right about something, or we've been offended by something, or we've been hurt by something. We come out a little bit more, right? So the notion of walking away from a situation and spending time by yourself does not happen as often as it probably should. It's okay to give yourself a self timeout. It's okay to say, what am I feeling? And then a lot of times I think we do not want to take that time out to acknowledge how we're feeling and really analyze it, because we're afraid that if we do that, we're just going to fall apart and we're just never going to be able to be put back together. And that's false. When you are able to take the time that is necessary to address what you are feeling and then process through that and apply a coping skill with it, you have just given yourself treatment. So once you do that, you're going to be able to move forward accordingly. I promise you, you will not be stuck because you chose to address your emotions. It's very important that you know that. You will not become stuck because you address your emotions. When you become stuck is when you begin to drown in your emotions, because they keep coming and keep coming, and you get lost in it and you just don't know where it started and where it ends and how you got there. So keep that in mind. When you do not address your emotions and try to process what you're feeling, that is a recipe for disaster. And that's not a place that you want to be. So please, if you need a break, take one. It's okay. And if you're in the helping field, no one understands more than those of us in this field that you need a break. So it's okay to say, well, this was a little triggering for me, or this is pushing my limits and my boundaries of my stress level, and I just need to take a step outside really quick, and I'll be right back. Would you mind covering for me? And I'm sure there's somebody who would not mind. So taking a break, giving yourself a timeout, and not just in the day, but if you know that after 3 months straight of working and dealing with other people's issues, that it becomes a little too much for you, then see about taking an extra day off, or taking that weekend every 3 weeks to just do nothing, to decompress, to do things that only you want to do. And more importantly, on a daily basis, it has to start with you and it has to end with you. Make sure that you're tending to yourself and not just other people. When you include yourself in that list of people who need attending to, it makes it a whole lot easier to help people, and it makes that processing routine a little easier because it becomes a normality. It becomes something you're not having to work so hard because you are more self-aware, because you took the time out that morning to spend time with you and journaling, which we'll talk about, and then in the evening you've come back and you've processed again, so you know what you need or what you're lacking, what you need to get. It just helps out a little bit more. It takes the edge off. So journaling. I am a huge fan of journaling, okay? It is one of my go-to all-time favorite coping mechanisms because journaling is a safe place, and I am an avid believer in safe places. We always ask people, how are you feeling? Or, why don't you say anything? And we wonder why suicide rates are so high, and why no one said anything, and why depression is so high. But it's because our minds play this huge trick on us, and it tells us that we do not have a safe place, whether it's true or not. Whether we have that friend, that confidant, that partner, the family, the space to have, to be safe and express ourselves. Sometimes with certain situations, our minds plays that horrible trick on us where it tells us there is absolutely no safe place. But that journal is that one place that is absolutely safe. It's the place where no one's going to rebuttal. No one's going to tell you that you're wrong for how you're feeling. They're not going to say you didn't say that right. They're not going to ask what do you mean? It's just going to allow you to express yourself fully. And then even if you're concerned of what if someone reads my journal, you can always rip it up. You can always burn it. Journal entries and burning them is a form of therapy, not just in a sense of nobody's going to get to read it, but releasing it and knowing that you have gotten it all out of your system and that it's now done away with and you can move forward. So don't be afraid to journal, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes I'll open my journal and my only journal entry for that day would be, today sucks. Today was a crappy day, or I'm so tired. It doesn't necessarily have to be an extreme long, Romeo and Juliet paragraph or 3-4 pages. Sometimes it's just, I just need to get this out. And I don't want to be judged for it, or I don't want to, offend anybody. So I just need to get this out. And journaling does that. And that's what writing journaling is, what I was mainly talking about. But even audio journaling, picking up your cell phone device and being able to speak into your audio and just kind of express how you feel and what's on your mind. It's perfect. Perfect. Okay. So the last thing that I will give you as a coping mechanism for working in the helping profession and making sure that you're taking care of yourself would be, if you need extra help, get it. Therapy is a beautiful thing. Talk therapy, virtual therapy, going out and talking with a friend, it just helps so much to get another person's perspective, to be able to release that stuff again. It's to get it out. You have to get it out. So find that safe person. Find that safe place where you're able to do that. And of course, there's tons of other coping skills, such as bike riding, going for walks and runs, gardening, taking a day that's strictly for you. All those things are great coping skills. Again, it goes back to when you are working in the helping profession, the best way to take care of yourself is to remember that you are responsible for taking care of yourself. So don't just wait until you're triggered. Don't just wait till you have a bad day at work till you realize I need a break. Be self-aware. Know what your triggers are. Know what your boundaries are, your limits, how far you can go. and make sure that you're taking time out to work on you and be aware of those things. Self-care means self-awareness and self-work, self-accountability. So keep that in mind. Again, thank you guys for joining me on this training. I hope that you have enjoyed it as much as I have. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to comment, and be sure to take the survey at the end to tell us how we did. Thank you.